We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It's 12:34 a.m. Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Well, it's my day off today. It's a pretty chill day. Sammy got off work, and we went and actually met up at Jessamine County Library here in Kentucky. Played some Yu-Gi-Oh! With some friends. With a friend, and met some other people, so that was pretty cool. It was kind of eventful, though. We had a homeless crazy person talking to us, and we were in a back room at the tables playing cards, and one of the people had brought a cat in a little cat carrier, and she kept wanting to pick it up and take it out, saying that she could feel its soul. So yeah, the dude finally had enough and just was like, look, I don't want to get security or a worker here, but I told you multiple times not to be messing with the cat, because the cat was getting aggravated, acting like it was gonna scratch her. So yeah, then she said, "This is the land of the free, home of the brave." And he said, "Yeah, I understand that, but I told you not to mess with my cat." So that was pretty crazy. But besides that, we had fun. I got my ass kicked pretty much every game except one. I beat him one time, which I don't know if you guys know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I got 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons out basically on the second turn, which was pretty wicked. But yeah, it was fun other than that. Let's get on with the show. That's about it for an update. Yeah. So I found this interesting. I found it on BitChute a couple days ago, something like that. And it's like a literal Tower of Babel. It was footage of a literal Tower of Babel burning, and all these people cheering and singing some song or chanting in some foreign language. And I couldn't figure out where it was from. And the other day, I was watching Jacob Israel, so check his channel out. He's a truth channel. He's Christian, but I don't mind. I listen to all sorts of channels, Christian, non-Christian. Christian, non-Christian, whatever. But just keep that in mind. He does get a little bit preachy, but he's a good guy. He puts out the truth and stuff. So I found out where it was from his channel, and yeah, I just found it interesting. In the midst of war with Ukraine, Russians gather to burn Tower of Babel. Here's the audio from it if it plays. Well, technical difficulties. This site sucks. As the Russian-Ukraine war enters its 4th week, the Mastalinsia Pancake Folk Festival in Nikolai Linovets in the Kaluga region of Russia culminated last week in a huge bonfire that emulated the Tower of Babel. Here, maybe it'll play now. So yeah, it was basically like a wooden effigy of the Tower of Babel, and they burnt it down with some creepy music playing in the background. But I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. The effigy, designed by Yekaterina Polyakov, Yokov, yeah, it's Russian, I'm sorry, was significantly less majestic than its biblical counterpart, made from wooden shipping pallets and straw, topped out at 23 meters. Quote, "We want it to be an event that brings people together and helps them get through what is going on in the world," Ivan Pelosky, manager of the park, said to the media. "We have adjusted the program. There is no place for frivolous fun this year. Pancake Day is not a holiday, not a joyful carnival, but an artistic statement. It so happened that the very Tower of Babel was never completed because of the discord between people and entire nations," Polyakova said. "The current one serves as a modern symbol for such disunity." The young architect, whose design was chosen in a lengthy process, seems to have misunderstood the biblical story she chose as the centerpiece of the religious festival. The sins of the builders was not, as she stated, disunity, but rather unity in an effort to challenge and dislodge the rule of heaven. Yaakov Heyman, the chairman of the Temple Movements, began that, like the original Tower of Babel, the effigy in Russia was an acceptable action with an unacceptable intention. Quote, "God wants us to come together, and architecture is a part of that," Heyman, who is the manager of buildings projects by profession, said. "The highest form of this was, and will be, the temple in Jerusalem as a house of prayer for all nations. We don't worship the building. It is a container for what we do there." The United Nations is a replay of the Tower of Babel, and this anti-God disunity is epitomized by and focused on how they treat the Temple Mount. By the way, we did an episode on that new temple they're building and all that jazz. It's creepy stuff. It's like, if you're a Christian, it's the type of stuff that, like, the Antichrist comes back. So I'm not Christian, but the stuff they're doing is kind of creepy. We did a whole episode on, like, the Antichrist, and I don't know, I'll try to leave it in the links if you're watching on YouTube. Or not the links, but the credits, so you can click on the video. The cure for global disunity is the temple in Jerusalem. There is no other cure and no shortcuts. The tradition of burning large objects to art was initiated in 2001. The tradition is part of Maslenitsa, also called Shrovetide, the oldest surviving Slavic holiday celebrated during the last week before the Great Lent, that is, the 8th week before Eastern Orthodox Pascha. The festival has retained a number of elements of Slavic mythology in its ritual. Celebrations featured the baking of traditional pancakes, sleigh rides, sparring between groups of men, and finally the burning of an effigy of Lady Maslenitsa. So yeah, there you have it. The burning of the Tower of Babel. I thought it was interesting. Not many truth channels except for Jacob Israel and some other channel that I seen was reporting on it, but stuff like that catches my eye and I think it's interesting, so I wanted to share it with you. But let's get on with the next story. So this I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure about this politician Matt Gaetz. I don't know. I like Rand Paul. I kind of like DeSantis, but I think people should be paying attention to the bills that DeSantis signs because some of those bills are kind of weird. Pretty much the only politician right now that I actually trust and would shake their hand would be Rand Paul. But yeah, we all knew about the Hunter Biden laptop. This channel reported on it. I mean, the truth community knew about it, but it is just now being acknowledged in like the New York Times and stuff about Hunter Biden's laptop, which the past two or 3 years, everything that the truth community has reported on and gotten strikes for is now non-conspiracy in mainstream news. But I wanted to play this audio for you of Matt Gaetz just grilling an FBI agent, I guess someone higher up in the FBI, basically about Hunter Biden's laptop. So let's check it out.
So where is it? The laptop.
Sir, I'm not here to talk about the laptop. I'm here to talk about the FBI cyber program.
You are the assistant director of FBI cyber. I want to know where Hunter Biden's laptop is. Where is it?
Sir, I don't know that answer.
That is astonishing to me. Has FBI cyber assessed whether or not Hunter Biden's laptop could be a point of vulnerability, allowing America's enemies to hurt our country?
Sir, the FBI cyber program is based off of what's codified in Title 18, Section 1030, a code which talks about computer intrusions, right, using nefarious intent.
Well, you've talked about passwords here. I mean, Hunter Biden's password on his laptop was Hunter02. He drops it off at a repair store. I'm holding the receipt from Max Computer Repair, where in December 2019, they turned over this laptop to the FBI. And what now you're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
How are Americans supposed to trust that you can protect us from the next colonial pipeline if it seems that you can't locate a laptop that was given to you 3 years ago from the first family, potentially creating vulnerabilities for our country?
Sir, it's not in the purview of my investigative responsibilities.
But that is shocking that you wouldn't, as the assistant director of cyber, know whether or not there are international business deals, kickbacks, shakedowns that are on this laptop that would make the first family suspect to some sort of compromise. Mr. Assistant Director, have you assessed whether or not the first family is compromised as a result of the Hunter Biden laptop?
Sir, as a representative of the FBI cyber program, it is not in the realm of my responsibilities to deal with the questions that you're asking.
Has anyone at FBI cyber been asked to make assessments whether or not the laptop creates a point of vulnerability?
Sir, we have multiple lines of investigative responsibility in the FBI. They're all available in public source.
Well, I would think you'd know this one. I mean, I would think that if the president's son, who does international business deals, referencing the now president with the Chinese, with Ukrainians, I mean, have you assessed whether or not the Hunter Biden laptop gives Russia the ability to harm our country?
Sir, again, we can do this back and forth for the next couple of minutes. I don't have any information about the Hunter Biden laptop or the
Should you? I mean, you're the assistant director of FBI Cyber.
By the block and line chart, no, sir, I should not.
Who should we put in that chair to ask questions about this laptop that FBI has had for 3 years?
Sir, I'm not in a position to make a recommendation of who should sit.
So you don't have it. You don't know who has it. You don't know where it is. You're the assistant director. You know, earlier you talked about whether or not you were the Grant Hill or the Christian Leitner. It sounds like you're the Chris Webber trying to call a timeout when you don't have one. So who is it? Do you even know who has it? Do you know who we should put in that chair to ask these questions to?
No, sir, I don't know who has it.
Well, could you find out and tell us? You're going to have to give us briefings, thanks to Mr. Lou and Mr. Massey's question about whether or not the FBI was taking a $5 million test drive on the Pegasus system that was being used to target people in politics, people in government, people in the media, people in American life. So will you commit to give us a briefing as the assistant director of FBI Cyber as to where the laptop is, whether or not it's a point of vulnerability, whether or not the American people should wonder whether or not the first family is compromised?
Sir, I'd be happy to take your request back to our office.
Gosh, I mean, will you advocate for that briefing? You will?
I will be happy to take your request back to the FBI headquarters.
Well, do you believe that that is a briefing that the Congress is worthy of having, I guess?
Sir, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm here to talk. The invitation says oversight of the FBI Cyber Division. It does not say anything.
Well, right, but I mean, this is a cyber asset. This is a point of vulnerability. If there are passwords, if there are business deals, if there are references to things that could harm our country, like, you can't even sit here right now and say that you know that there's not a point of vulnerability. Maybe there are other crimes, maybe there are tax issues or whatever, but as it relates to is the first family sufficient cyber infrastructure to protect? You don't even know if they're compromised. Tell you what, Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record of this committee the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop, which I'm in possession of.
I'm not. There's no objection to that.
I've never had.
I will object pending further investigation.
And what's the basis of that objection?
It's a unanimous consent request, and I object pending.
Very well, I have a subsequent question. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt.
May very well be
from the Mac shop.
It may very well be entered into the record after we look at it further.
Very well, Mr. Chairman, I have a subsequent unanimous consent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the receipt from the Department of Justice
Chairman, this is
to
Ms.
the
Demme.
Mac shop.
Am I next, or
Without objection, gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After a consultation with majority staff, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record of this committee content from, files from, and copies from the Hunter Biden laptop.
Without objection.
Thank you. Yield back.
So there you have it, man. Just laying into him about the contents on Hunter Biden's laptop. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Figured I'd share it with you all. Let's get on with the next story. All right, so I have some listeners from Tennessee, so I would like to play something real quick and read an article for you all. Some good news. I've been telling you all for a while now to stock up on food, and where I have listeners in Tennessee, I want to share this article with you. I've been feeling it's very important considering I'm a night stalker at a grocery store. I see the trucks come in and out. I've been studying this. I'm a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat, crazy person. and I just think it's important. So let's see if it plays without technical difficulties.
Rate.
Yep. On sales taxes for groceries.
You probably noticed you're paying more for a lot of items. Nationally, inflation was up a record 7.9% last month. Tennessee has a 4% tax on food items, specifically food that is not served as a ready-to-eat meal. Local governments add taxes on top of that. Knox County, for example, has a 2.25% rate.
Now, Governor Lee's proposal would suspend state and local taxes for 30 days. WAT6 on your side reporter Kristen Gallant joins us now here in the studio with perspective on what that means specifically to your neighbors and me.
Well, Lori, food is obviously an essential item for everyone, but that doesn't mean everyone can afford it. When the money runs out, some turn to food banks. At times, even that's not enough. Today, I talked with a group that serves those people struggling to get by, many on fixed incomes. What I heard is that any relief is good relief. Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee provides food for more than 600 groups across the area. Those partner organizations get the food to the people, lots of them.
The census that was recently taken tells you there's about 200,000 that live at or below the poverty level. So 200,000 people could use us. That doesn't mean they are, but they're living at that level. And the government's number is about a family of four making about $28,000 a year.
Though the food banks don't have to pay food taxes, the people that they serve do.
Most of our clients, if not all of our clients, are going to the grocery store. And again, every penny that they can make to be able to provide food for their families and all of the things that it impacts.
Governor Bill Lee says his proposal to suspend state and local grocery sales tax for 30 days would provide direct financial relief to Tennesseans amid surging inflation nationwide. It's an idea the president of the Tennessee Grocers and Convenience Store Association says he's behind.
It would provide some relief on the bottom line of that grocery bill to not have to pay tax on food items.
From panic buying to food shortages and now inflation.
The last couple of years has certainly been a whirlwind for the food industry,
which causes a direct impact on you when you're at the grocery store. The possible tax suspension is an idea that those with Second Harvest say many could benefit from.
I am just absolutely thrilled that the governor's proposing this.
Now, the governor's proposal to suspend state and local sales tax on grocery for 30 days will be included in the 2022-2023 budget amendment, which will be delivered to lawmakers Tuesday in Nashville.
All right, Kristen, thank you. You know, we also heard today from Food City, the grocery store chain says provided that retailers have enough time to plan for the change, they call the tax break great for Tennesseans and note that the factors affecting inflation are beyond their control.
We're also hearing from Governor Lee this evening. He just wrapped up a roundtable with business leaders in West Tennessee, mentioning, as he put it, Tennesseans have felt the impact of inflation tremendously.
Our state is in a strong fiscal position to be able to let Tennesseans keep some of that hard-earned money and do so by suspending the grocery tax for a time. There's a lot yet to work out on that, but we're glad that we can make that effort.
Now, the roundtable taking place at an independent grocery store in the town of Covington, where the owner said he had never seen price increases like what his store is seeing now. Matter of fact, he mentioned that the price increases are coming so often that he is looking into an investment in electronic price tags just to save on the labor of consistently updating his shelves.
And we also noticed this moment with that grocery store owner pointing out to Governor Lee his spread of snacks, specifically choosing Snickers and Twix, because he says they're taxed at different rates. Listen to this. Twix is defined as a cookie, Snickers defined as a candy bar. Interesting. That's a reminder of the complexity here for shoppers and stores when it comes to what the state defines. When Tennessee lowered the food tax rate from 4% to 5%, they shared this graphic with examples of grocery store items that don't qualify for that lower rate, that 4%, like bakery goods, heat and eat meals, fruit trays, cooked or dried meats. We'll keep watching as this idea goes to lawmakers next week.
All right, so I know it's a boring, tech difficulties. I know it's boring. I just have listeners in Tennessee, and I think this is important. But how would Governor Lee's grocery tax suspension affect you if approved? Knoxville, Tennessee. Wait. You've probably noticed you're paying more for lots of items. Nationally, inflation was up a record 7.9% last month. Tennessee has a 4% tax on food items, specifically food that's not served as a ready-to-eat meal. Some local governments add taxes on top of that. Knox County, for example, has an additional 2.25% rate. Governor Bill Lee's proposal would suspend state and local taxes for 30 days. You got 30 days to do this. And I'm not getting some kickback. This isn't my sponsor or something crazy. I'm just sharing info. Just giving you all a heads up like I usually do. Food is an essential item for everyone, but that doesn't mean everyone can afford it. When the money runs out, some turn to food banks, and at times, even that's not enough. East Tennessee has several groups that serve those people who are struggling to get by. Many of them are on fixed incomes. Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee serves more than 18 counties and provides food to more than 600 partner organizations. Quote, the census that was recently taken tells you that there are about 200,000 that live at or below the poverty level, said Elaine Strino, the executive director for the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. So 200,000 people could use us. That doesn't mean that they are, but they are living at that level. And the government's numbers are about the family of 4 making about $28,000 a year. Though food banks don't have to pay for food taxes, but they are nonprofit, the people they serve do. Quote, most of our clients, if not all of our clients, are going to the grocery store, and again, every penny that they can make to be able to provide the food for their family and all the things that it impacts, Strino said. Governor Lee said in a news release his proposal to suspend state and local grocery taxes for 30 days would provide direct financial relief to Tennesseans amid surging inflation nationwide. President of the Tennessee Grocers and Convenience Store Association, Rob Ickard, said he supports the proposal. From panic buying to food shortages and now inflation, Ickard said it has been a whirlwind for the food industry. It will provide some relief on the bottom line of that grocery bill to not have to pay tax on food items, he said. The grocery industry in Tennessee and the food industry in Tennessee is very happy to do whatever we can to lessen the impact that inflation is having on Tennessee households. The possible tax suspension is an idea that Strino, with Second Harvest, said many could benefit from. Quote, I am just absolutely thrilled that the governor is proposing this, she said. The governor's proposal will be included in a 2022-2023 budget amendment, which will be delivered to lawmakers Tuesday in Nashville. Wait, WATE, reached out to several grocery retailers and heard back from Food City. They sent us the following statement. Quote, earlier today, Governor Lee announced a proposed 30-day grocery tax suspension, which would effectively put additional dollars back into the pockets of Tennesseans, said Kevin Stafford, Food City Vice President of Marketing. Quote, provided that retailers have ample time to prepare our systems and plan for this initiative, it would be great for Tennesseans because so many of the factors that affect inflation are beyond the control of grocery retailers.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.